we are so excited to have Kellan Lutz back in the studio with your dimples.
Yes.
Kellan taught me something about dimples that I did not know before we started rolling, which is
you have nodules on the inside of your cheeks. So that's what actually sucks in your dimples. And I used to bite them. I used to bite them thinking they were kind of goofy until I realized I put two and two together, and then I was fearful if I ever bit them off that I wouldn't have dimples anymore.
So you liked them growing up? Because I hated mine growing up.
I actually had more. I had 3 on this side and 2 on this side. And I think you're right. I had some chunky cheeks, and as they thinned out, kind of morphed into the big ones that we have.
Well, you have nothing chunky left on your body, I will say. After watching Hercules, it was incredible. What I loved about it was not only, I mean, obviously the physical part of it, but you embraced the emotional side of it too, which you don't always see in these kind of movies. Just sort of like a little bit about your emotional preparation.
Oh, so much into this one. From a young age, growing up in the snow and in the woods and on the farm, and being a middle child, I had a lot of time by myself because the older brothers were causing a ruckus and the younger ones were getting the attention. So I had to make my own adventures on my own, and mother would just release me and I'd go play in the snow with the animals, and I would always play Tarzan, I'd play Hercules.
When you say animals, you grew up on a farm, didn't you?
Yeah, I had my farm animals.
You didn't
my,
just go out
pigs.
in the woods and...
Oh, there's a wolf, let's go pet the wolf. And I would just use my imagination. I've always been in my head and quite reserved, and I'd still create these worlds in my head. So as I grew up and I took on the profession of an actor, and that dream, that inner child dream, was able to come to fruition. I was able to make these heroes a reality and portray them. And then also just the Legend of Hercules. He is, the classic original hero that nowadays we have Thor, and Captain America and all the Marvel heroes. Hercules epitomizes the original hero to me, and he is part man, born of a mortal woman, and then also part God, born of Zeus. So he deals with human downfalls and insecurities, as well as has this superpower strength that he's able to let loose from time to time.
When you were talking about being a little boy, did you have something that you wanted to do before you wanted to be an actor? When you said, oh, when I grow up, was there something you thought you were going to be?
Not be, I wanted to fly. There was many times I jumped from the silos. So
you wanted to be a superhero, basically.
Of course, who doesn't?
Have you had a moment in your career where you've sort of said to yourself, this was, because this sort of theme of Greek mythology, and I know Rennie has talked about, a big theme of this film is sort of free will versus fate. Things that you sort of make happen and things that are fated. What's a moment in your life that was sort of like written in the stars that...
Being an actor, being here, I really think, I'm here for a reason, and there's a purpose for it, and I'm here until I shouldn't be here anymore.
And what about the opposite side of it? Something that you made happen. You were like, this has to happen. Because I heard that you really fought for this role too. Like it was something that you really...
Well, also, I very much believe in faith and law of attraction, and with my team, as an actor, I sit there and I make goals. I think it's very important to visualize something so you have something to go to and work towards. When Hercules came around, thankfully Chris is Thor and the other Chris is Captain America, because that means they really don't have time to do Hercules. The field's a bit smaller. And then you have other people, and my list, I was on the short list, but I saw my other competition. And I think really meeting with Rennie, he saw the fire in my eyes for this role and the dedication that I'd put towards it and the knowledge that I have for Greek mythology. I just was fascinated with it from a young age and just really embraced him as a character and as a hero. And he just loved what I put out.
What I loved is you embraced skirt wearing. And you said you actually even loved that part of it.
I did, especially during the fighting, because it wasn't restricting. When you have the armor on,
I know women complain about wearing skirts and dresses, and you're like, okay, been there, done that, and I fought off people in doing it.
Yeah, well, is
it liberating? Tell the guys out there, how is it?
I wouldn't wear something like that on my day-to-day. I'm a jeans and t-shirt type of guy, but fighting...
You could start a new thing in Hollywood, you never know.
People have tried it, especially the Irish with the kilts.
Right.
And whatnot, but for me, battling when I'm, on the horse, the only time it sucked is when I'm bareback on the horse and I have my skirt on there and it's rubbing and it just sucks. There's some time
where some X-rated moments, just like, cut,
oh my gosh,
really?
Every time I'm fighting, I'm in a harness and you're just freeballing it sometimes and you're flying in the air. And everyone's like, Kellan, like towards the beginning, everyone's like, Kellan, I'm like, oh, I'm embarrassed. And then I wasn't really embarrassed. I've done, underwear shoots, but then when you have stuff hanging out, you're like, oh, sorry guys. Towards the end of the movie, they're like, Kellan, I'm like, all right.
No modesty whatsoever on this set.
It comes out, you're wearing a skirt.
And
you're fighting.
And the eating fresh part of it, getting ready for the role. Because I know you've talked about going from loving gummy bears to loving salads. So please tell me.
I've changed.
How do you go from loving gummy bears to salads? Are you putting gummy bears on the salad, or what are you putting on it?
That's genius, actually. That would be amazing. For me, I've been getting into nutrition and personal training and learning about the human body because it's what I live a very active lifestyle. I'm very interested in that part of education. Candy for me, I'm a science nerd. I learned how bad processed sugars are and how many calories are in them and how bad they are for your body, and I was obsessed with them.
So you do feel like Hercules in a sense?
I mean, every day on that set when I was wearing the costumes and I'm on that set. But even more so now, I like being healthy.
What would people sort of on the outside say you would tell them you would never guess this? You would never either guess this about you or about the business?
I've learned a lot from the business. It's tough work. It really is tough work.
Because people think on the outside think that
it's all glam and glorious, but you get a lot of no's before you get that first yes, and you really need patience, and you really need to be doing it for the right reasons.
It's great advice.